what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a Platinum Arena meta-analysis, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so I haven't done one of these for a little bit over a month. So the last one I did was in May, and now it's going to be sliding in towards the middle of July. So been a while since I've done one of these, so I wanted to go ahead and revisit this topic, see how stable the meta is in Platinum Arena, take a look at what it was back in May and how it has changed till now. So I'll show you kind of a chart that loops and shows the difference between May and July. But there are a couple notes I want to talk about before I get into this topic, and that is I do this on Sundays because that is when people are starting to push their rank, so I can get a little bit more of a realistic feel for what champions people are using to defend themselves in Platinum Arena. And another thing is this is not a perfect metric because there's no way for me to look at who these people are using up at the top of Platinum and up in Platinum for their attacks, who they're swapping in, who they're swapping out. I have no way of realistically acquiring that data. So I have to go by who they're using on defense and gather that and then plop it onto a spreadsheet and kind of see the data that it is spitting out. But that's the best I can do, is going by the defense and just kind of laying that out there for you so we can take a look at what is changing and what's staying the same. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pull it up here. All right, there it is. The red is going to be back in May of 2020, and then when it changes to green, that's going to be currently today where I gathered this data. So really only three things to take note of here, and that is that Rotos has overtaken Arbiter just barely in terms of the most common champion that I'm seeing up there in Platinum defenses. And yeah, not a whole lot of surprise there. I think we can see that kind of shift depending on the hour and what teams are kind of showing up there. Arbiter and Rotos will kind of switch out between 1 and 2. That's totally to be expected within standard deviation. And if you didn't see my analysis back in May on this, I'll briefly touch on why. Arbiter, obviously insane. She's got a ridiculous speed aura, and she's void. She lowers the duration of buffs on an AoE, and she also boosts turn meter and boosts attack, and she's got revive. So Arbiter, obviously an insane choice. And she's easy to acquire because when you complete your missions, which if you are up in Platinum Arena, you probably have, she's going to be available to the entire player base up in Platinum Arena, or at least like 99% of them. So the high likelihood that they have her, and then how good, oh sorry, you can't see behind the chat, I pulled up the missions, but the high likelihood that these players are going to have her and her high impact and wide variety of impact. Not surprising that Arbiter is way up there at the top of the list, basically no matter when you look. And then Rotos was a fusion. So, you know, again, 99% of endgame players, especially people that are up in Platinum, spending money on the game, playing actively every day, they probably got Rotos. So couple that, with Arbiter, it's the same effect. It's the high likelihood of acquisition versus the high impact in the arena. There is no surprise to me that the top two are Arbiter and Rotos. I expect that to stay the same for a long time. And the number 2 point that I wanted to make after kind of touching on Rotos and Arbiter and not really changing in terms of the top two is the entire top 5 did not change in terms of what champions. It's Arbiter, Rotos, Siphi, Hegemon, and Krisk. The top 5 is exactly the same. More and more people are going to acquire Siphi the longer we go here, so she's obviously not going to go anywhere because she's, you know, arguably the most insane champion in the game, especially in the arena. So someone who has Siphi is probably going to be using her, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that Siphi is number 3, not because of how good she is, but because that many people are able to get her. I've pulled, I mean, going on 1,000 void shards, and a lot of them are 2x. Now, admittedly, a lot of those were before Siphi was released, but even during this 2x event, just for viewers, I probably pulled like, gosh, I have no idea, probably like 1,500 something void shards for viewers, and I only got 1 Siphi, and that was towards the end. It could have easily been 0. So I mean, for this many people to summon Siphi, like, it's kind of surprising to me with how hard she is to get, because even during 2x events, void shards are only 1% to get a legendary. So I've personally witnessed people pull 200, 300 void shards and not get a legendary. So for that many people to have Siphi, given the fact that you can't whale out, they're not like ancient shards. You can't just whale out and spend $10,000, because the offers in the shop, they have a limit to them. So you can only acquire a certain amount of finite void shards. So I'm a little bit surprised that Siphi is number 3 and that many people have her. That is a little bit surprising to me. But obviously people that are up in the higher tiers of platinum are probably going to be spending a fair amount of money. So I'm not surprised that Siphi's on the list. I am surprised she's number 3 though, and how many people have her, just because how tough it is for me personally to acquire her, and how tough I see it is for viewers to acquire her. So that is a little bit interesting. But yeah, the top 5 champions have not changed. And actually the third point that I wanted to make is the only change that we see in the entire top 10 is going to be Duchess falling out of the top 10 and Saris sliding into the top 10. But again, that is standard deviation. Saris and Duchess are both amazing champions, depending on the hour that you're looking at this. You know, when those ranks are changing and the people in platinum are changing hands, completely within the norm of standard deviation to see Saris and Duchess kind of slide in and out, and a lot of those champions down in the 5 through 10 range, kind of moving in and out a little bit. So really not a whole lot to cover in terms of changes that we've seen happening in the platinum meta, unfortunately. So that kind of means that there may not be much of a demand for me to really look into this and discuss it until we see something that is going to cause a shift in the way the arena is being played, or champions that hit the champion pool that change things. Like the last thunderbolt to the arena was Torment. He really kind of shook things up for a little bit. Well, I should also throw Rotos and Siphi in that as well. So Rotos, Siphi, Torment were kind of the last 3 big additions. Hegemon, Krisk, all of these things were the type of champions and type of events and type of fusions that would shake up the arena. But I really don't need to dive into this topic and do a video on the meta analysis, unfortunately. I wanted to do this about once a month, but until we see, obviously you can see the chart yourself, it is very stable. I don't see this chart really changing at all, and I don't know of a champion coming down the pipe that's going to change this. But as soon as something does happen, I will throw a video out there and get you guys up to date on exactly how the meta is changing, and do the best I can in terms of gathering data to see exactly what is happening. But I do think this speaks to it would be really handy to, I think there's so much more potential in the arena that is not being unlocked. I think there's so many more fun things they could do, like switch it up, like okay, maybe not in the lower tiers, like in bronze and silver. The arena is what it is. Leave it normal. I mean, we can't expect these people to develop many champions. It's hard enough for new players to develop 4 champions. So leave bronze and silver the same, but up in gold, or at least in gold 4 and platinum, at least up in there. When we get to the end game players who are developing 30, 40, 50 champions, let's start shaking it up. Let's start doing some fun things. Maybe have a week where you can only use these 3 factions, and that's it. Like that week from Monday through Sunday, up in gold 4 and platinum, you can only use these 3 factions, or or only use this affinity, like something. I'm just spitballing here off the top of my head. These may not be good ideas, but something like that. But let's shake it up. Let's throw the arena for a wrench. Let's give people a reason to theory craft and build different teams and shake it up at the top. And I mean, it's been months where the meta is exactly the same, and it's not going to change. When it does, I'll keep you guys in the know. 3v3 obviously is going to be their focus right now, so I don't expect the classic arena to really be a focus of theirs, at least until we get the 3v3 up and running and get the Bazaar, which is the 3v3 arena shop, up and running. Then maybe we'll start doing some fun things with the classic arena and start addressing how stale it is, and it's just the same champions over and over and over. It's probably going to be the case for the next month or two at least, and then maybe 3 months down the road, we may see some shakeups, some new champions that mix it up and whatnot, but probably going to be the same for a while, so you won't see a video like this until I see a reason to keep you guys up to date and looking at this data, just because of how stable it obviously is. But always fun to really look at things and kind of dive into the data and confirm it. I really thought it was going to come out mostly the same, but wanted to have a fun little discussion and give you an opportunity down in the comment section. I always read your comments and kind of talk about it behind the scenes in content creator chats and on stream and stuff. I do read what you guys say, even if I don't reply to every comment. I usually read about 80 to 90% of what you guys say down there, so I do really appreciate those of you that take the time to leave some input and kind of have a discussion as a community. So that's gonna do it for this video, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.